welcome back to ORBX land. Today we'll be checking out the triple installer for Israel's Farm. Israel's Farm is a small, privately owned grass strip not far from the banks of the Skagit River in Washington State. In real life it was sold recently, so I'm not sure if it is, in fact, Israel's Farm anymore. But as with most flight sim sceneries, it is a snapshot in time. Believe it or not, this is the very first ORBX payware airport that I purchased back in 2010 for FSX. My computer at the time had a tough time with the grass and the logs in the river, so it kind of fell into disuse. In fact, it was effectively relegated to a nice patch of photoreal river terrain to fly over when shuttling between concrete and the San Juan's airports. As payware airports go, it is about as small and simple as it gets. In fact, it was bundled with concrete for a while if I recall correctly. But its performance belied that as the detail and scope versus performance trade-off, wasn't a particularly good one compared to many others. Fast forward to 2014, and I not only have a more powerful computer than that old Core 2 Duo, but P3D is installed instead of FSX. The first thing I notice is that performance is indeed much improved, no surprise there, particularly for the airstrip itself. My current system doesn't really have much of a problem at all with the grass now. In fact, with the control panel settings for this video, all visual items checked except for grass level 3, frame rates were almost exclusively above 30. From a simple frame rate perspective, Grass 3 clearly had the biggest impact while sitting in the airfield, but is still very flyable. Despite the high frame rates, I did get some stutters when looking at the river. Even though they don't seem to affect the frame rate, something in the river, logs perhaps, does impact smoothness somewhat. However, my biggest surprise was indeed how well the airstrip itself performed. My average frame rate with everything but grass level 3 checked was 30.8 frames per second, while with everything, including grass level 3 checked, it was still a healthy 28.6. As one can see in the video, the skies are quite cloudy, so performance could conceivably be even better in clear summer weather. As my landing skills in the A2A C182 improved, I found that this was not a particularly difficult strip to land at. In fact, what is captured on this video is my first landing at Israel's Farm in a couple of years, and the very first in the 182. Because it is a rough grass strip, A2A does provide some nice tires for grass landings, and I would not recommend wheel pants be installed if operating here. I had a little float as I brought the nose up to landing attitude, but it was softly down in short order, having only used a small portion of the runway length. I do love it when the ORBX airports incorporate birds and other wildlife. Few if any animations add more to the immersion, especially at small fields in the countryside. Despite being one of the most venerable Pacific Northwest airports from ORBX, it has been ably brought back to life. The combination of a more modern system and this triple installer makes this once again a desirable place to visit. I did do a little off-roading with the plane, which I do not recommend, because afterwards in the maintenance hangar I had to replace a wheel and a tire. But at least it got me up to the farmhouse, looking similar to how I left it in FSX. Well, I hope you enjoyed this visit to Israel's Farm, and thanks for watching.